Hello Instagram, hello Facebook, hello YouTube after, my website after, anyone on Pinterest. I share it on Pinterest too. It's always so fun cooking with you guys today. So as always, I'm going to get the recipe page up. While I'm doing that, if you are watching on YouTube or you're watching on my Facebook, or I'm not sure about Instagram, but you can get a notification if you hit the subscribe button, or if you hit, I think on Facebook there's a little subscribe button also, and it'll say something about be notified the next time we go live. Then it'll be easier to find this when we're ready on Thursdays. So next Thursday is Christmas. I was going to see what my schedule is, but next Thursday it's either Christmas or Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Day. So we're probably not going to be cooking on Christmas Day, but I'm thinking about, because I missed you guys so much the last time when it was Thanksgiving, that I missed you so much that we're going to have to plan a day in the week this next coming week before Christmas. So I'm thinking maybe Wednesday we'll have to see what my schedule looks like, but I will definitely let you know when I find out. But anyways, let's get cooking. Hello, Annette. If you're watching, shout out from where you're from, because it's always so fun to hear where you guys are from. Last week, we had someone from Italy watching. That is so cool. A bunch of my Canadian friends. So fun. All right, so today we are going to make eggnog muffins. They are one of my favorites. I had a friend who hated bananas, and she didn't like coffee either. And I made this for her one time, and she's like, "Oh, I really like that." And I said, "Guess what was in it? Bananas and coffee." She's like, "Oh my gosh, I would have never guessed that." You wouldn't, because you don't really taste it. Hello, Brittany. Hello, Cindy. Thank you for watching. Okay, so we're going to start. So the conventional way, I had to think about that word for a little bit. Conventional way to cook this is to bake it in the oven, but I have a little pancake maker here, which is really fun to use. Mandy, hello from Georgia. Hello, Mandy from Georgia. Thanks for joining. Michelle, hello from Portland, Oregon. Hello, all the way in Oregon. So fun. So you can make this, you can bake these, you can make them as a waffle, as a pancake, any type of thing, but I'm going to use my little pancake maker. Found it at a thrift store. You know, that's my favorite place to get things. Carla, hi from Oregon too. So fun. My Oregon friends are here today. So I did find this exact same, it's baby cakes. I'm not going to show you the inside because it's kind of, I cleaned it, but you know, anyways, that's what it looks like on the inside. I found another one just like this on Amazon. It was a little spendy, but there's tons of muffin makers on there, donut makers, all that kind of stuff. Or you can just bake it in the oven the normal way, which works amazing also. But I have my little maker here, which is kind of fun. Joyce, hello from snowy southeast Pennsylvania. I'm a little snow jealous. We've had 2 storms. One melted all away, and this one is barely anything. It's almost Christmas. It does not feel like Christmas without snow. So send your snow this way, please. I like snow. Okay, so we're going to make our muffins. So, of course, we need our scale. This recipe, I'm cooking it out of the Holiday Cookbook because it's fancy. Or it's in volume 4. Not sure what page, but I know it's in there. I looked it up. And it's in Cooking with Joy. But today, I'm going to cook it out of the Holiday Cookbook, and it's page 29. And we're going to make some eggnog muffins. So, of course, we need our scale. My favorite is the Escali Primo scale. Super light, stays on for 4 minutes, which is nice because there's nothing worse than in the middle of your cooking, your scale turns off, and you're like, oh no, I didn't look where I was on my scale. I don't know what number it was. So, I like it. It stays on for 4 minutes. Hello from Amsterdam. Oh my goodness, so fun having you here. Oh, Joyce says she will gladly send her snow here. Thank you, Joyce. I will take it. Send a truck. I want it all. So fun. All right, so we need a bowl. Of course, tons of bowls, tons of spoons cooking here. All right, so we're going to turn our scale on, and we are going to start with mixing. It's a pretty simple recipe, this one, and you can make this almost any flavor. Oh, Krista Sweetser from Instagram. Hello, so excited for these. Me too. It's like Christmas in a muffin, and you get to eat all of these. You get to eat as many as this batter will make. So if you're using mini muffins, then you get more. If you're using regular muffins, then you'll probably get, my guess is this one made about 4, but depending on how full or how thin you want to fill your cupcake things. Marine, 14 inches of snow today in central Massachusetts. I want your snow, Marine. Send it this way. I will take your snow, please. Everybody send your snow to Minnesota. I will take it gladly. I live in the land of Minnesota for a reason, because I like snow and the cold, and it's so pretty. It makes everything sparkle. All right, so we're going to start out with banana. If you do not like banana, you're not going to really taste it in this recipe, but some people are allergic to bananas. You could use apples, really thinly diced, or diced pears. Those make great banana substitutes because they're not overly, like, they don't have a very strong flavor to take over the recipe. So bananas are my favorite sweetener, but pears or apples work also. Annette, yes, we need snow. My parents in Pennsylvania got 20 inches. Snow envy. I want some of that. Ugh. Okay. Now I'm going to think about snow. We're going to get some snow. It's Minnesota. It has to happen. All right, so we're going to do 3 ounces banana. So we're just going to keep adding banana till we get to 3 ounces. Perfect. So it was almost 1 banana. This was a pretty big banana. But usually 1 small banana should be around 3 ounces. But I always measure my fruit. It makes me feel better. All right, so we're going to mash our banana. My favorite masher is just a fork. It works perfect. Just use the back of it and mash, mash, mash. And you don't want like super big chunks, but if there are some chunks, that's okay. Because it's going to cook nice in our muffins anyways. So it should kind of look like this, nice and mashed. All right, so we have our bananas. Now we're going to do 1 ounce uncooked oats. I like to mash my banana first before adding all my ingredients. It's easier kind of to get the banana mashed out better than when you add everything else in. But you can just add all the ingredients and then mash it all together. But I personally like to mash the banana first, but that's just me. So we're going to do 1 ounce uncooked oats. These are just regular rolled oats. They're organic. I know some people are gluten-free. You could use gluten-free oats. That works also. You could really use any type of oats. Steel-cut oats, it'll be like a not as soft of a texture because they don't cook as fast. Quick oats or instant oats, those will probably be a little bit softer texture because those cook down really fast compared to like regular rolled oats. I've never really experimented with either one, but that's just kind of what I've heard. So you could do that. Rice, you can use cooked rice, cooked quinoa. You can use like any grain for this. It's really fun. Okay, so now we're going to do a half teaspoon of instant coffee. I never grabbed any of my teaspoons. Let me grab one of those. Half teaspoon. We'll grab an 1/8 teaspoon also, just in case. Or 4th teaspoon. All right, so we're going to do a half teaspoon of instant coffee. Or a little bit more. I really like instant coffee in things, so I'm going to do about one teaspoon of instant coffee because I'm going to amp up the flavor because I really like it. Okay, then we're going to do a splash of maple extract. Sadly, I've run out of maple extract. I just ordered some online, and my local Walmart, where I usually get my maple extract, has been out. So I'm going to use rum extract instead, because you think of eggnog, you think of like rum or that kind of stuff in eggnog. That's what we're going to use. I'm just going to use about like a splash, which I heard is about 1/4 teaspoon, or you can do it up to like half a teaspoon, depending on how much you really want it flavored, because it does add like a depth and a flavor. So I'm going to do just like 2 little splashes. You could use vanilla extract, no extract, almond extract, whatever kind you'd want in this. Then we're going to do 1 teaspoon nutmeg, and this is what really makes it taste like eggnog, is the nutmeg. It really makes it shine. So we're going to do 1 teaspoon. So I'm going to do 2 half teaspoons. Oh, it just barely fits. 1 teaspoon nutmeg. This will really give it eggnoggy flavor, which is my favorite. Then we're going to do a half teaspoon of cinnamon. doesn't fit, that's okay. And if you really like cinnamon, you could do a little bit more, a little bit less. These seasonings are all kind of to taste. Now in this recipe, I never said to do a pinch of salt, but whenever you're cooking with fruit, always remember a pinch of salt. Debbie, hello Debbie, she waved on the recipe page. This is fine pink Himalayan, that's my favorite. Usually we get the large chunk and then use the grinder, but this one's fine and it's been working just fine. Huh? Get it? Fine salt, yeah. If you have to explain a joke, then it's not really a joke. Then we're going to do 2 ounces milk. Here's my milk. I just get organic whole milk. This is a little different brand than I usually get, but organic's organic, milk is milk. You could use plant-based milk. You could skip the milk and do something else. I don't know if I've tried this without the milk, so I don't know how that would go. But hey, experiment, see what happens. It's always fun. Baking is an adventure. Okay, so we did our 2 ounces milk. Now we're going to do 1 egg. I always weigh my egg because I get them from a farm and you never know like what size they are. Let me show you a huge difference in egg. Okay, that's not like a huge difference, but look, this one's so much bigger than this one. So I usually pick like the biggest egg and it usually comes out to 2 ounces. So let's see, my scale is at 0. Have you ever done it where you add something and you forget to 0 the scale before? Done it many times. Ha! 1.9, which that's close enough for me to 2 ounces. 1 egg should weigh 2 ounces. But that one's close enough for me. I've had it where it's been like 1.5. And I'm like, hey, I'm being skimped on my protein here. I do not want to be hungry later. Then I don't have in the recipe, but we're going to add some baking soda and baking powder. I don't know why I don't have it in this recipe. Maybe I didn't know about that yet. But I saw a post about what baking soda and baking powder does. So, baking powder makes things rise, but by itself, it can kind of have a metallic-y taste. I've never noticed that because I have been using it by itself. Baking soda helps things brown, but by itself, things will just be flat. Put them together, and what do you get? Perfect muffins. Perfect baked things because you get a little browned, you get a little fluff, or skip them all together. If you do not like to use baking powder or baking soda, skip it. It wasn't in the original recipe, but I want these to be a little bit fluffy. Or you can have them more dense and skip both. Or just use one, whichever one you want to do. Alright, so we did a 1/4 teaspoon of baking powder, baking soda. Okay, so we have all our ingredients. We have our egg, oats, banana, instant coffee, maple extract, our cinnamon nutmeg. Did I say milk? Because there's milk in this. Now we're going to mix it all up. My favorite thing to mix it with is a fork. And just kind of mash and mix until it's all combined. There should not be big chunks of anything. There shouldn't be like big hunk of egg. Nothing like that. Oh my goodness, this smells like Christmas. I think the rum extract is a win in this. Because usually they make like eggnog and they'll put, what is it, rum or something else? Not sure. Never made that kind before. But it smells divine. If I could make smell-o-vision, I so would. Alright, so this is what it should like. It's a pretty runny consistency, runny texture, but that's okay because it'll cook nicely. So I'm going to just lightly oil my muffin cupcake maker, but I like to call it a muffin maker. Makes me feel healthier. So we're just going to lightly spray each little muffin hole and the top. We don't want anything sticky. I found with this, the muffins pop out really nice. Nothing really sticks. Alright, now I'm going to use a spoon and just kind of spoon the mixture in and divide it. And this is a little bit smaller, what do you call them, muffin holes, muffin indents than like a regular muffin pan. So this will probably make more than 4. So I have a pretty big spoon. I would say it's about a tablespoon. So I'm going to do 1 scoop into each one and see how we go from there. Oh yeah, that fills one thing perfectly. So about a tablespoon in each one. But it's not rocket science. You can just kind of fill up your muffin things. You can line a muffin pan if you want the little liners. Those are kind of nice for cleanup. Ooh, this makes just the perfect amount. All right. No batter left behind. When you only get 3 weighed meals a day, we took time to weigh this. We're getting every piece. No muffin left behind. All right, now we're going to close this and cook it for about 7 to 10 minutes, maybe 20 minutes. I've noticed this does take a little bit longer to cook since it's not like flat like a pancake or a waffle, but that's okay because while that's going, we're going to cook this. Otherwise, you would bake this at 350 for 30 minutes. 25, 30 minutes, or you could do like the toothpick thing where you take a toothpick and stick it in, and if the toothpick comes out clean, it's done. Sometimes I just do like a poke test, and it should be a little bit firm, not like gooey, soggy, then you know it's not done yet. Cook it a little longer. But, so we're just going to let this cook like a waffle maker, let it do its thing. While that's cooking, I was going to make some cranberry orange jam and experiment, and then I'm like, well, hey, let's get all my friends in on this too. So we're making this together. So I have just a bag of cranberries, 12 ounces, and I washed this. I just dunked the whole bag in vinegar, and then I dunked it in water and just really washed it really clean because you don't know who's touched this before. So I'm going to use 1 bag of this. Then I bought 3 oranges. 2 I washed. They're nice and dry because I'm going to zest them into my pot of cranberries and fruit when we do this. So we're going to peel these oranges. So 3 oranges, 12-ounce bag of cranberries. Now this is just kind of like to taste, which is kind of fun with jam. You can add a little more orange or more cranberry or whichever you want to do. So we're going to take a pot, and this should fit everything in it. It's a pretty decent sized pot. Does it have a size on it? No. I have no clue. This is just a pot I have. So we're going to put this on the stove. I'm going to move it to this back burner because this one can do a little bit smaller than the other. I'm going to move this over. Put this away. Can you ever have enough counter space? I don't think so. All right, so we're just going to have that there. We're not going to turn it on yet. Would clementines work? Ooh, you know what? Oh, I'm thinking clementine. Clementine, what's a clementine? Yes, absolutely. I think that would work. They're like what? Just a really tiny little orange? Maybe, because those are like about half the size of this. Maybe use about 6 of those per 12-ounce bag, or depending on how much you want to do. So we're going to just throw our cranberries in here. We're not turning it on yet because we want to have all our ingredients in there before we turn it on. All right, then we're going to get a knife because we're going to chop our oranges a little bit smaller because the skins don't make it easy. But before we chop them, before we peel them, I found it's easier to zest it before you peel it. Christoph Wall. I know, I'm like, clementine, what is the clementine? It's like an orange. Yeah, that you could, I was going to say grapefruit, but that's just not as sweet as an orange. An orange is pretty sweet. So I'm going to zest 2 of these oranges. This is just like a zester. I'm not sure. You could maybe use like a grated knife and just kind of scrape things, but a zester works the best. Now there's probably like a technique to zesters, but I don't use them very often. So I just grate it on there. You could probably use like a cheese grater because we want this nice and zesty. And for a 12-ounce bag and 3 oranges, I think you could zest all 3 oranges if you want, or skip the zest. It just gives it more of an orange flavor. Alright, zest these oranges. Now you don't want to like zest it all the way to the core. That's like one thing I know about zesting. You just want kind of the outside dark orange stuff. That's kind of what you want. Do they sell, can you buy like dried orange zest? I have found at my local health food store, I found like orange peel. Is that the same as orange zest? because I had that, I added it to something. I didn't taste it at all. But while we're experimenting here, maybe I'll add a pinch of that and I'll show you what it looks like. So I found orange peel and lemon zest. So now we're on to the second orange. So maybe we'll have to see if that makes a difference. But I am already zesting orange. But I think we'll add a pinch of that anyways. Just to see what happens. I always like experimenting. It's so fun. You never know what's going to happen. Woo! The cupcake or muffin maker just sizzled. Then you know it's cooking good. And it smells divine. Oh my goodness. Alright, so we're almost done zesting these oranges. So my guess is this is about 2 teaspoons of orange zest. So I mean, if you want to make a smaller batch of this, you sure could. Use like a third of the bag of 1 orange. But these jams freeze really well. So here's what our orange zest looks like. Isn't it? That's just beautiful. The colors, it just looks like Christmas. Alright, so now we're going to peel our orange. And I know there's like fancy ways of peeling an orange, but nobody's got time for that. I'm just going to peel it the old-fashioned way. I saw one where you like cut it in the middle all the way around and then you get your thumb in there and you just go like that. I tried that. It didn't work very well. I've seen where you like slice it this way and then you unroll it that way. And I'm like, then you get a lot of the white stuff. I don't really like the white stuff. As a kid, I never really liked that at all. I would sit there literally and like peel all of that off because it was kind of thick. So to me, peeling it gets the best texture and gets the most of that white stuff off. Alright, this one's almost peeled. Get some of that white stuff off. Did you know that you can peel a grapefruit? I found that out, and I really like eating grapefruit that way. It's like an orange, because I remember as a kid, before we ate this way, I would take a grapefruit and you cut it in half, and then you sprinkle sugar on it, you know, to make fruit taste good. But now, since my tastes have changed, like just a plain grapefruit is so sweet. It's so delicious. I mean, it's not as sweet as like a banana, but it's pretty sweet and delicious. All right, let me grab a cutting board. Forgot one of those. And we're going to cut our orange and throw it into our pot here. So I'm going to cut it this way, and then I'll peel them all apart. Because we want kind of smallish pieces, not too big. Because they will cook down and they will fall apart. But I want them a little smaller than just straight up here. Alright, we're going to peel these little bits off. This is where you get to get a little messy in the kitchen, but it's fun. Okay, we got that part. And then I'm going to take this core piece out. Because, you know, it's got like that hard core thing in the middle. Nobody wants to bite into that. Then I'm planning, after I make this cranberry jam, I'm going to make some orange cranberry muffins, maybe orange cranberry like loaf thing. So there's tons of things you could do with this. You could just top waffles with this jam, which is so yummy. You could make, so you know the apple waffle recipe we made? Take that, but instead of the apples, and you could switch up some of the seasonings, you could top it with this mixture of cranberry orange jam. And that would be like Christmas. It'd be so good. Oh, with this eggnog muffins, you get 3 ounces fruit on top and 1/4 of a protein. You could use this orange cranberry jam. That would be delicious with eggnoggy stuff. It'd be like Christmas in one meal. That would be so fun. Maybe I'll have to do that tomorrow for breakfast. Alright, so we're almost done with 1 orange. Then I think I'm going to turn my pot on while I'm peeling the other 2 oranges. Nice orange hands. It just smells so good. Orange, I think, is one of my favorite smells. So we're going to turn this on about medium-high heat because the cranberries, they break down a little bit slower than like apples do when we made the apple jam. So I saw somebody, there were certain kind of apples that didn't break down as nice. I don't remember what they were. But they turned their heat down and cooked it a little bit longer, and then the apples did start to break down without burning. So if you're making the apple jam and your apples just will not comply and they start burning on you, turn the heat down a little. You could even cover the pot to steam them to make sure they get really nice and soft. Wow, this orange is peeling nicer than the last one. Oh, and with the grapefruit, peeling the grapefruit, I have found that peeling it one way compared to the other way, that white film, or that thick white stuff, that comes off easy one way compared to the other. So I would start, and then you get a good hold of that white stuff and you just peel it off. It's actually really kind of satisfying. All right, we're going to just pull the core out. Chop this orange into smaller pieces. Maybe. Yeah, we're just going to chop it instead of pulling it apart. Nobody's got time for that. Just throw it in. Ooh, this is going to be so yummy. You could add some rum extract to this, or if you want to add like a splash of vanilla extract, you could, or just leave it just the fruit, which that's what I'm going to do because I want to try it this way first and see how this turns out. All right, the last orange. Ooh, and our muffins are smelling so good. All right, so what are some of your meal plans for Christmas? I know Thanksgiving, all of you had so many delicious ideas. It's surprisingly easier than you think, holiday meals. I mean, just have like a big old turkey or a big old ham, and then for the family, and then like mashed potatoes for them, and then you just have a delicious vegetable on the side. I know I made vegetable stuffing. That was really yummy. And then there was a bunch left over, so then I froze it, and then we had it later, which was kind of fun, because then you get all the Christmas flavors back, or Thanksgiving Day flavors. I could have froze it till the Christmas and then had it too, but I didn't do that. And then what's the verdict? Is it a Christmas ham? A Christmas turkey? What do you guys have? I'm not sure what we're doing at all for Christmas yet, because it's a Thursday, Friday, random day in the week. I'm not sure what we're going to do here yet, but it's going to be something fun. Maybe we'll just have chickpea pizzas. That's always fun and delicious. This orange does not want to come apart. I know I have a friend that her family, in years past, they would do like a theme for Christmas. It would be like Asian theme, or like Mexican cuisine, or Italian, that kind of stuff. And I thought that's really clever and fun. Really mixes it up. Ooh, our cranberries are getting hot and they're starting to pop, which is okay. They will do that a little bit with cranberries. They kind of like burst a little bit. But that is okay. They're not burning. All right, that was our last orange. Got it nice and peeled. Throw this all in. Now I'm going to grab a spoon and we're going to give this a stir. I'm going to wash my orange hands. They smell so good. Annette said, I better start thinking about it this week, right? I haven't been thinking about like Christmas dinner at all because I've been thinking about my life during this week and things that I need to get done and that kind of stuff. And then, oh, next week's a holiday. Oh. All right, let me grab a spoon. This time I have a rubber spoon. The beautiful Annette and her family gifted me this spoon because she saw my cooking live and she's like, I got you a spoon so you don't scrape your non-stick bowls and stuff. So thank you, Annette. This one is like up to 400 degrees that it won't burn or anything, which is kind of fun. All right, I'm going to turn this light on. Just give it a nice stir so our food cooks evenly. So kind of once everything starts to sizzle, I might turn the heat up just a little to about, so mine goes from like 8 to 10. No, it doesn't go from 8 to 10. That makes no sense. It goes from like 0 to 10. So I have it at about 8 right now, which is almost the highest, but a little bit lower, because we really want the cranberries to start breaking down. Get back in there, cranberry. All right, then I'm going to grab my orange peel. Let me find it. Aha, orange peel. So this is what it looks like. It's just dried orange peel. I found it at my local health food store. And I'm just going to add, let's do like a 1/4 teaspoon of this. I'll show you what it looks like inside. It's just light dried orange peel. It kind of looks like nutritional yeast, which I just got my first time getting nutritional yeast because I thought that stuff is weird, but I just got it and I've been kind of experimenting with it. So it's been kind of fun seeing what it's all about, because I saw all of you guys raving about it, about like, oh, it adds like this cheesy thing. I know a lot of vegans use it. It adds like a cheesy flavor to things. And I'm like, I don't know. It's just kind of weird. I still don't know what it is, but I know it tastes good. I made some sweet potato fries in the air fryer, and then I coated them with that, and that was really good. I think I did notice it on there. It gave like this nice, I don't know, like seasoning on the outside. I saw somebody, I think it was Annette, that you air fried, or it was somebody. They air fried chicken and they coated that in nutritional yeast for like the crispy outside. And I'm like, that's really clever. I want to try that. All right, so we added our orange zest. We'll see what that does. Oh no, cranberries, get back in there. So we're just going to let this cook. For Thanksgiving, I made some cranberry pineapple jam. That was delicious. I still have some in my freezer. I put it in a ball jar. Don't fill it all the way up. Found that out the hard way. That it will just kind of expand and then your stuff will come out. But if you fill it, so let's just say this is the ball jar. It's not. And let's say this is the top. You fill it to about there, and it didn't. I've never had problems with it that way, putting glass in the freezer. So, does it smell like orange? I didn't really sniff it. Maybe I should. All right, let's see. It smells more like tea. Like if you were to get like a very lightly flavored orange tea. Yeah, it's not very strong. Use directly in baking by adding 1 part of peel in batter or filling with about equal parts of water. I don't know what that means, but is suitable for use when orange flavor and aroma but not texture is required. Interesting. You never know what you're going to find at a local health food store. It's kind of fun. Alright, so I can hear our jam sizzling a lot, which is good, because we want the juices to kind of start coming out of all the fruit. So just stir it ever so often to make sure there's no burning, because we don't want burned jam. That's not good. And you can kind of smell it as you're cooking, or you can kind of sense as you're stirring that, oh, it's kind of getting burnt to the bottom or something. Then you can turn the heat down just a little bit. But you don't want to like be, oh, I'm going to put on low heat. We want this kind of hot to make all the juices release and stuff, so then it gets nice and saucy. And I think our muffins are done. Ooh. Give it a poke test. The poke test passed. They have like a little bounce to it, but yet they're not like rock hard solids. You don't want them rock hard solid. All right, so I'm going to grab my plate here, and we'll put it on a plate, and then I'll show you them. So when I use my little makers and stuff, my favorite thing to get things out is just a fork. You just kind of gently lift them up, and look, these pop right out. No liner needed, just a little oil of the pan, which I like. Sometimes those liners, they get more stuck to the muffin than anything, and then you're like chewing on it and you're trying to get them out, and it's kind of annoying sometimes. But cleanup is nice with those. I know there's silicone liners, But those always taste like soap to me. I have not been able to find a good silicone liner that doesn't turn out tasting like soap. If you have like tips and tricks on that, because I have a little muffin silicone liner, makes all my food taste like soap. It's nasty. It's not worth it. It's the taste that counts, not the look for me. Well, kind of both. I like my things to look nice. Alright, so give this a stir. Ooh, yes, the cranberries are breaking down nicely. This smells so good. It smells like Christmas. So you could maybe do 2 oranges to a 12-ounce bag, because this looks like a lot of orange compared to cranberry, but it's depending on like what kind of flavor you're going for. I really wanted this to be very orangey in flavor. Does that make sense? That makes sense. Compared to like the tart cranberry. So this is turning out beautifully. All right, here's our muffins. As you can see, they look beautiful. And they'll have just a little, it's a little spongy, so then you kind of know they're done. They turned out perfect. Oh, they smell so good. So then with this recipe, you get more stuff on top. So you get 3 ounces fruit, which bananas go perfectly well on top of this. But if you don't like bananas, use a different fruit. Have fruit on the side. Have vegetables on the side if you want to. You could do 3 ounces vegetables. Because there's only 3 ounces fruit in this, then you get 1/4 of a protein still on top of this. So you get more stuff. So my favorite thing is to do 2 ounces Greek yogurt on top. That's like one of my favorite toppings on anything is plain Greek yogurt. And then I'm probably going to do like another pinch of cinnamon or chai spice and then top it with some banana. That's probably what I'm going to do, or maybe some apple jam if I have some in the fridge, or have some cranberry jam on the side. That is always so fun. And this one made, these are pretty short muffins, so I would say that these are about like mini muffins. This one made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 little mini muffins that, and I get to eat all of these for breakfast. I mean, win-win. We are not missing out on anything. Thanksgiving came around and I saw all this stuff and I'm like, I ain't missing out. I had pumpkin pie. I had it for lunch. It was from one of my cookbooks. I had all these things and I didn't feel like I was missing out at all. I had beautiful Thanksgiving dinner, which was like turkey, vegetable stuffing, all that stuff. I didn't feel like I was left out at all. Because I know there's a lot of times, I know the first Thanksgiving I felt like I was grieving a little bit because we started in October, so that was right before Thanksgiving. But then when Christmas came, I had a little bit more time of eating this way, kind of under my belt. And I don't think I was like having super fancy stuff like this yet. I don't know if I knew about that then. I might have. I'm trying to think back, because these recipes did come out the last year around Christmassy times and that kind of stuff, because you get in the Christmassy spirit. But when you have like this kind of stuff, you get to celebrate still, but yet you're staying within your boundaries of safety and just peace, just stuff that brings you peace. Eating that piece of junk food or like cake and stuff, is that going to give you peace? I remember when we first started, my mom gave us this advice, wise woman. She said, because we were like, oh, I could just go for blah, 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 XYZ right now, and it was junk food or something. Oh, that would just hit the spot. And my mom said, you know what? How long would that satisfaction really last? 5 minutes? 3 minutes? And then what? After you have that piece or have that one thing you really wanted, then what are you going to be left with? The sugar monster is awakened. Cravings, you just want more, 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 more. No peace. You feel guilty. You just feel horrible. Your body is rejecting it because sugar is literally poison to our bodies. It's just not worth it. You just kind of got to weigh, is this piece of food worth my peace? Usually it's not. At the moment, you might be thinking, oh, but it would taste really good. It's just food. It lasts like what? 2 minutes? Not worth it to me. Annette, when creating a holiday meal, how do you divide up foods? Like say the pumpkin pie and you only want a slice. Any suggestions? That is a really good question. So just recently at my church, they had like a beautiful taco salad bar, and then they asked if I would make my yogurt cheesecake. And I'm like, yes, I'll make the yogurt cheesecake. So I did, and this was all eyeballing this meal because I was out. I wasn't at home. So weighing it at home, I probably would have did a little bit differently. But since I was eyeballing it, I made a taco salad, and there was no fruit on the taco salad. So then, and there wasn't like very much protein. I think it was just like taco meat was the protein. So then I had a slice of the yogurt cheesecake, which was about a little bit more than half of a serving, which to me, I had peace about that, and then I was good. So I had my vegetables, some fruit on top of that, some fruit in it, which was protein and stuff, so I was cool with that. But let's say, yeah, you want like a slice of pie. So you could do it if you're at home and you're weighing this and you want it really scientifically. You could either make a pie and cut it into fourths and then have 1/4 of the pie, and then you would get a fourth of everything else on the side, because I think the pumpkin pie counts as everything. Ooh, this is cooking down really nice. So I think the pumpkin pie counts as everything. So then you'd get 1/4 vegetables, 1/4 fruit, or you could do 3 ounces vegetables and just count that the whole pumpkin pie as your fruit if you want to. Then you'd get 1/4 of a protein, 1/4 of a fat, that kind of stuff. So that's what I would do, or have half a pie and then half of everything else. That's another way if you want like to have a slice and not have it your whole meal, which I totally understand. Because sometimes you're like, well, I kind of want a little bit of this, but I don't want it all. I don't want to eat a whole pumpkin pie, which you can, which is fun. But yeah, so you could do it that way where you divide it and then split it, or like I did when I was at church where I kind of eyeballed it, and then I just had, because I knew what was in the cheesecake, and then I just kind of eyeballed the salad, which was probably a 6-ounce salad with taco meat on top, which was about maybe 2 ounces of taco meat, so it kind of all evened out. Now, I wouldn't do that every day because it wasn't like the perfect measurements, but you just do the best you can. Just stick with your piece. And this cranberry jam is looking amazing. So I'm going to probably let this go for about 1 more minute, and then I think we're good. My cranberries have kind of all broken up. Everything's nice and red and yellow. It's beautiful. Beth, hello, Beth. Welcome. So yeah, that's just what I would do. Throw these orange peelings away. And then I will show you our jam. So then what I would do after this jam is done, then I would take just, so we get all these pickles. I'll show you the pickles we get. They're just at my local Walmart. And there's no sugar or flour in it. Well, of course there's no flour in it. It's pickles. But you never know. Some days you could read ingredients and you're like, why is there flour in my pickles? It's for flavor. Bread and butter pickles, you know? No. Bread and butter pickles usually do have sugar. I found that out the hard way. But these have none of that in there. It's just other things. These are my favorite pickles. I just get them at Walmart. And then after we use this up, I save the jars because then I put my jams in it when I make those. And then I put them in the freezer, which is kind of nice. So I fill it to about here. You don't want to fill it all the way up because I found out the hard way. I did that because, oh, it filled up my jars just perfectly. And then I went to go open it and there was like apple jam frozen down the side, some on the bottom. Thankfully, the jar didn't burst, but my freezer got a little, well, it didn't get sticky because the apple jam isn't really sticky, but it did spill a little bit. So just learn from my mistakes so you don't have to learn the hard way. It's an adventure, right? All right, so I can tell that this is starting to burn to the bottom, so I think we are done. I'm going to turn it off. So you can kind of tell when you stir it that pieces are getting stuck to the bottom. Then I would probably turn it down a little bit, or depending on how done you want it. This just looks really cool. It looks kind of grass, but like orange grass because of the orange. All right, let me get a better hold on this. Don't want to drop the whole pot. That would be bad. So this is what it looks like. Isn't that just cool? This is going to be delicious. I'm going to make some muffins with this during the week. Or just have it on in like, have it on a parfait, that kind of stuff. Oh, it smells so good. It's beautiful. I'll show you close up. Ooh, look at that steam. That is so fun. So this was the cranberry orange jam, or orange cranberry jam, because there's a lot of orange in it. And this is about a 12-ounce bag of cranberries and then 3 oranges. So maybe next time if you want it more cranberry, but cranberries are pretty tart, you could do 2 oranges to one 12-ounce bag. Or you could do like pineapple orange. Pineapple with the cranberries was so good because the pineapple was like super sweet and the cranberries were not, but like the tartness and the sweetness together was beautiful. So that was our recipes for today. You could top your eggnog muffins with some orange cranberry jam. So I'm going to let this cool. And since this is a pretty thick texture, you would not need to add like chia seeds to thicken this at all. Because I know in some of the jams, it calls for like a tablespoon of chia seeds, but this is not runny at all. And I bet letting it sit, it'll probably get just a tish bit thicker, but it's perfect. And it smells so good. It smells just like Christmas. It looks like Christmas. So fun. And if you haven't tried the gingerbread donuts yet, those are the bomb. So fun. Annette, would cinnamon taste good in it too? Ooh, it probably would. I never think of like adding cinnamon with like citrusy or like cranberry fruits, but that would taste, take it off the burner. But that would taste amazing, I think. It would just bring in a whole new flavor with those two. That would be really fun. But yeah, so next week I'll let you know what we're going to do. And exciting news, if you haven't seen already, Volume 9 is through the publishing process and it is in the printing process now, which has been taking a little bit longer than normal because of COVID and those kind of things. But it is in the printing process, so that means that it's on pre-order right now on my website, or if you want it right away, go to Barnes & Noble, head over there. They sometimes have like shipping sales or book sales or first-time buyer sales if you've never bought anything from Barnes & Noble, which is really fun. Who doesn't like books? So you can find it there, Volume 9, 60 brand new recipes, not in any volume yet, not even in the holiday volume. No other cookbook has these recipes. Well, I mean, other cookbooks that I don't know of might have similar recipes, but not these recipes. You know what I mean. Anyways, those are really fun. That's out and about. Or you can get the ebook right away. You can get that on my website, weightlossrecipescookbook.com. This eggnog muffin recipe was in Volume 4, or the holiday volume, or Cooking with Joy. New things are coming. I've already started working on Volume 10. So then once that's done, then there'll be a Cooking with Joy 2. So you'll have 2 big cookbooks with all the recipes. Then I'm planning on making another whole food plant-based cookbook again, going through the recipes from Volume 6 through 10 and finding all of the naturally kind of whole food plant-based, which is probably a little bit more than the first time because I've kind of been dabbling a little bit more here and there with those kind of recipes. So that's coming. Suggest what we should make next week. I remembered one of you said maybe you should do a whole food plant-based day. So maybe we'll do a whole food plant-based where we get out the whole food plant-based book and we make some things out of there, or some other whole food plant-based recipes I've made, which are really fun. The chickpea cherry muggy overload cake, that is whole food plant-based. No egg, no dairy, unless you top it with dairy, then it's not. But that one's really fun. So yeah, new things are in the workings. I've had some suggestions for new things also, so there might be some new recipe things, making life easier, those kind of thing, cookbooks. So those are coming soon. And then, if I could ask one thing for Christmas, I got the same lady. She was so sweet. She messaged me. She's like, don't reply to this. I know you're busy, but can you do this, this, and this? And what about this kind of thing? They were the coolest suggestions. So I'm working on some of those. But she said, you need more reviews on Barnes & Noble. I'm like, I do? So I went and looked on there, and I have like 2. And one, it's not very nice. So for Christmas this year, if you could go to Barnes & Noble or Amazon and leave a review, that would just warm the cockles of my heart. That would be so amazing. I mean, you don't have to do it, but if you would want to, if you're on there getting Volume 9, you could, just leave a review. That would just be amazing. And hey, the more stars, the better, because you're the star of the show. All right, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I will be back sometime next week. It won't be Thursday, but I'm going to figure out a day. I'm thinking Wednesday, but I have to see just in case what's going on Wednesday. So we will be cooking again. It will be, Wednesday is Christmas Eve. No, Thursday's Christmas Eve. So we're not cooking Thursday, but we'll be cooking maybe Christmas Eve Eve. The Christmas Eve of Christmas Eve. All right, I'm just jabbering on because it's so hard to say goodbye to you because I love you guys so much. It is so fun seeing all your beautiful creations that you all make, and your like such creative, amazing twists on these recipes. It's so fun. It makes me just want to like go out and try all of those. Be like, oh, I have to try this. Kathy, she made the gingerbread donuts, but she made them as little gingerbread men. She had like little gingerbread molds, and I'm like, that is so cute. And then she put pomegranates on top. I thought that looked so amazing. Another lady, she made, it was Nicole. She made hers as little mandolins. Not exactly sure what they call it, but it's kind of like that. It looks like a little shell. And then she made the topping as like a dip to dip it in. I thought that was so clever, and it looks so amazing too. And I'm like, I gotta try it that way too. That sounds amazing. But yeah, try out those things. Check out my new cookbook coming out. Pre-order yours today. It probably won't be here in time for Christmas, but I have other books that can be here by time for Christmas. Probably not like international shipping or Canada. That usually takes longer. But U.S. shipping, it should probably arrive before Christmas, depending on the Christmas rush of the postal workers and those kind of things. But thank you for joining me. I will be back next week. I will put a notification out there letting you know when we are. I have to decide on that. But yeah, thank you for cooking with me. Try out this beautiful cranberry jam, orange cranberry jam. Try out the eggnog muffins. And suggest below what we should make next week or the week after, or just suggestions. They're always so fun. I love hearing from you guys. Thank you for joining me, and thank you so much for taking the time to watch me. I truly love all of you so much. So thankful for every single one of you. All right, with joy, and remember, you're only one thought away from a good day. With joy, Natalie.